So very good morning to all of you. Now that well past, I will say the good afternoon to all of you. Today is the first day of the new year, 1st January 2022, and on this day we are starting our new unit number 5, that is open channel flow. Okay. So first we will see the outcome of this lecture is the introduction to open channel, and then comparison between the open channel flow and the pipe flow. Pipe flow already we have completed in unit number 4. There you see the classification of or different types of flow and different types of channels, their classification, types of flow in channel, and also we will see the time permits, the geometrical properties of channel section. The geometrical properties of channel section. So this is the outcome of today's lecture. Okay. So first we'll see the introduction to the open channel, flow through rivers, irrigation canals, transportation canals, etc. are the examples of the channel flow. Or when I will say the channel flow, it is open channel flow. Yani fully forced flow will not be there. Pressurized flow will not be there in case of open channel. The characteristics of this open channel flow follow with a free surface. There is no confinement. जैसे कि पाइप फ्लो में confinement and there is pressure flow in the pipe flow. Okay, and the surface pressure is here in case of open channel flow is atmospheric pressure. All where there is the surface pressure is atmospheric pressure in case of open channel flow, and the flow is taking place due to bed gradient, or you can say the bed slope taking place, bed slope. Okay? It has to overcome resistance offered by shear stress at the boundary. So here also the flow through the open channel, which is in contact with the bottom boundary and the side boundary of the channel or canal, whatever you can say. And a channel may be defined as a passage through which water flows under atmospheric pressure. So a channel may be defined as a passage through which the water flows uh, under the atmospheric pressure. So to understand the open channel flow, and so we will compare it with the uh, open channel flow. Okay, it is the pipe flow and open channel flow. So we'll see the comparison between these two. So you can see from the figure one, this figure number one, above is A, you can say the pipe flow, and B, you can say is the open channel flow. Okay, or simply you can say the channel flow. Simply you can say the channel flow. Okay. You can see that open channel flow, the channel bed, bottom is there, fixed base, and over the channel bed in a slope, you can say channel bottom here written. And then the water surface, three water surface you can see, and the pipe flow, and the energy line, total energy line. This is the total energy line or EGL. total energy line is also called as energy gradient line. And this water surface where that is nothing but it shows the HGL in case of open channel flow. So you can say that it is hydraulic gradient line HGL in case of open channel. Here also you can say because there is no free flow in the pipe flow, the flow is pressurized flow and therefore there is some piezometric head from the center of your flow. That is nothing but P1 upon gamma, and there are some losses, and when you move forward there is again the piezometric at the section number 2. We have taken the two sections and the sections are part at a distance of uh, L. Okay, so here you can see that is at a distance of this. The pressure here at section 1 is different than the pressure at section 2 due to the sum of the losses, head losses. Okay, so here friction losses HF is denoted, that is the losses due to the pipe flow. Okay, and then energy line is the kinetic energy. You can say with velocity v1 is square upon tg from the hydraulic grade line, and here v2 is square upon 2g because if the pipe having a different velocity, then this this will be the energy gradient line. Okay. So that is the difference between the velocity will be different, the cross section dimension will be different, the pipe, okay, or also due to the resistance, shear stress between the layer of the moving fluid. Okay, so here the same, you can see that as in case of Bernoulli's equation, we are equating the continuity equation. Here also, in you can say in the channel flow, the pressure is at water surface is atmospheric. It is not precise surface as in case of pipe flow. So the through a pipe channel, in case of flow through pipe, there is no free surface as in the case of flow through channel. So there is no free surface in case of pipe flow, and this is because water flowing through a pipe is under pressure. This is because the water flows through the pipe system is under pressure, which at any section of a pipe is indicated by the level of water column in a piezometric tube installed on the pipe at sections. At different section, you can measure ahead by the piezometric tube. Because the flow through the closed pipe is nothing but pressurized pressure flow. The water level in the piezometric tube installed at different section of pipe indicates the hydraulic grade line. On the other hand, in case of channel flow, the water surface itself is nothing but the hydraulic grade line in case of your open channel flow. So itself the hydraulic grade line is the water surface, okay, in the open channel flow. However, the total energy line in the both cases uh, is nothing but v square upon 2g, that is the distance above the hydraulic grade line in the both systems. So this is the energy gradient line. And the pressure on the top surface of water in a channel is constant. No pressure difference can build up between any two sections along the channel length, as in the case of pipe system. Moreover, as the water flows in the channel, it will always be subjected to some resistance as such in order to overcome the resistance and to curb the flow of water in channel. So it is constructed with its bottom sloping towards the direction of flow so that a component of the weight of the flowing water is in the direction of flow is developed, which causes the flow of water in the channel. So therefore, that's why in the open channel flow we need a slope of the channel bottom so that the weight of flowing body will act as and towards the flow. Uh, it's uh, it it develops a direction of flow and the flow of water uh, continues and the flow of water is continued. Okay. So this is the difference between the you can say in the pipe flow and the open channel flow. The pressure is pressure flow in the pipe system and free flow in the open channel flow. Okay. So this from the figure we have seen, and now we will see the different types of channels on the basis of uh, cross-section form. So it may be natural channel or the artificial channel. So natural channel generally the rivers and streams made by the natural way, and artificial channels was made by the man-made. It may be the canal for irrigation purpose we are providing, or transportation channels, or other purpose uh, channel we can made artificially, okay, by excavating in different shapes. So these channels are called as artificial channels. And these artificial channels are also subdivided into the shape you will give to the channel. If you give the shape rectangular, so that channel will be called as rectangular channel. Similarly, trapezoidal channel, triangular channel, circular channel, or the parabolic channel. So based on the cross-section shape, you can you have given to the channel, they are classified as rectangular, triangular, trapezoidal, circular, and parabolic channels. On the basis of opening provided, if there is the channel are closed, then with covering at the top, to underground drains, such as tunnels, not running full. So it should be not running full. Then only it is called as channel flow. If it is fully flow with the pressure, then that is again the case of pipe flow. Okay, that should be remembered. Open channel means without any cover at the top. Okay. So generally we have seen and also the drainage system somewhere that is open channel, somewhere that is closed channel. Most of the big cities, if you visited, you can't see the drainage system, but it is provided underground drains. Then that channels are called as closed channel system. Okay. On the basis of safe or cross section along the length. है ना? If the cross section of the channel it doesn't vary along the length, then that channel is called as prismatic channel. But if the cross section of the channel it is changing along the length, its shape or changing, then that channel is called a non-prismatic channel. A prismatic channel having the same shape at various sections along length and laid on the constant bottom slope. The slope should also be constant, is known as prismatic channel. Okay. So you can say that in prismatic channel, the cross section and slope of the channel, it doesn't vary, it is constant. So that type of channel is called as uh, prismatic channel. Okay. Now various types of flow in channel already many times in lecture number one, unit number one, unit number two, unit number three, unit number four, we have learned already many times. Once again, I will explain to you when the flow doesn't change with respect to time, then that flow is called as steady flow. You can see that if there is a flow and the flow that does not change or doesn't change with respect to time, then this type of flow is nothing but steady flow. So this type of flow is steady flow. But if the flow varies with respect to time, is not stable, you can say. Here, here the discharge or velocity or parameters of the flow is not uniform, not same, not constant with respect to time. Then this type of flow is called as unsteady flow. And if the flow patterns are after time, some time is repeating, okay, so that type of flow is called as periodic flow. Okay. So with respect to some distance, when it covers some time, then again the same type of flow occurs, then that type of flow is called as periodic flow. Similarly, we are also seeing the uniform and non-uniform flow. Uniform flow is the depth, slope, cross-section and velocity are constant over a length of the channel. That is dy by ds is not changing. It is equal to 0, then we will say that the flow is uniform. But if the flow is varied, their cross section, velocity along the length or depth along the length, it is not constant, it is varying. So that type of flow is called as non-uniform flow or varied flow. Then the varied flow is also divided into two more types, that is the gradually varied flow and the rapidly varied flow. So in case of gradually varied flow, change of depth of flow takes place gradually along the length. It will vary gradually, but in rapidly varied flow RVA, depth of flow changes abruptly or suddenly over a comparatively short distance. A very short distance, if your depth is varying, so that type of flow is called as rapid varied flow. Rapidly varied flow. And example of rapidly varied flow is, you can say, the hydraulic jump. Okay. Then we also seen the laminar flow and turbulent flow. Laminar flow is the flow is a smooth and layered flow that we have also seen many times. You can say the flow is a layered flow. There is no disturbance between the layers during the flow. And this type of flow is called as smooth and layered flow, and they are uniform laminar flow. Similarly, if the flow is not uniform and rough flow, you can say, also the eddies formation are there due to the flow. Okay, so this type of flow is called as turbulent flow. And in between these two conditions, laminar flow and turbulent flow, so you know that based on the Reynolds number, we are classifying the types of flow, laminar flow or transitional flow or the turbulent flow. So if the condition in between laminar and turbulent flow is there, then that type of flow is called as transitional flow. That type of flow is called as transitional flow, and it depends on the Reynolds number. Reynolds number is less than 2000, then the flow will be laminar. And if the Reynolds number is greater than 4000, then it will be turbulent flow. And when the Reynolds number is in between, then R is greater than 2000 or R is less than 4000, in between, is to flow. This is called as transitional flow. So this we have based on the flow pattern based on the Reynolds number, we can divide or classify the laminar or transitional or turbulent flow. Then again the subcritical flow, critical flow, supercritical flow. These are based on the Froude number. Based on Froude number, if the Froude number is less than 1 or the velocity v is under root of 2gd is less than under root of 2gd, then this is called as subcritical flow. But if the Froude number is equal to 1, that is velocity v is equal to under root of g into d, then that is critical flow. And if the Froude number is greater than 1, the velocity v is greater than under root of gd, then these flows are called as supercritical flow. So subcritical flow when Froude number is less than 1, critical flow when Froude number is less than, it is equal to 1, and supercritical flow when the Froude number is greater than 1. This is the classification or types of channel flow or flow in a channel. You can say. Okay. So this now we are going to study the channel flow. So geometrical properties of channel section. So different geometrical properties of channel section can be defined entirely by the geometry of the section and the depth of flow. Some of the geometrical properties of the basic importance are defined below. So below you can see the definitions of the different geometrical properties of the channel section or open channel section, you can say. So first one we will see the depth of flow. This depth of flow is denoted by the letter Y. The depth of flow is the vertical distance of lower point of the channel section. This is the lower, if you consider this is the trapezoidal channel section. Okay, this lower point from here to the free surface of water, this is nothing but the Y, and that is nothing but the depth of flow. That is nothing but the depth of flow. You can see in the figure number 5.2. Okay, so this is the distance Y, that is free surface to the distance of the bottom of the channel. That is nothing but depth of flow. Then the top width of the channel, that is T, it is denoted by capital T. That is top width of the channel is denoted by the capital T at the free surface. Okay, so this you can say it is nothing but the top width is nothing but capital T. The geometrical properties of the channel section, and the weighted area A, it is denoted by A. The weighted area is denoted by A. Area of flow or water area, you can say, and it is the cross section area of the flow normal to the direction of flow. The channel it is flowing, then the cross section area of the flow normal to the flow in the direction of the flow, normal to the direction of the flow, that is called as weighted area. That is called as weighted area. Similarly, the weighted perimeter. What you mean by the weighted perimeter? Perimeter means along the length, the surface in contact with the if this is the water flowing. So here you can see from this to this length, the surface is contact, the water is in contact with the channel surface. So this length is called as perimeter. This length is called as perimeter. Okay, because only we are considering the liquid portion, so that's why it is called as weighted perimeter. That's why it is called as weighted perimeter. है ना? Weighted means भीगा हुआ, जैसे हम बोलते हैं जितना जहाँ तक आपका वाटर और या अदर लिक्विड सरफेस के कांटेक्ट में रहेगा उसको क्या बोलेंगे, वेटेड पेरीमीटर। And is generally denoted by the P is the length of channel boundary in contact with the flowing water at any section। कोई भी सेक्शन में आपका फ्लोइंग वाटर चैनल का बाउंड्री से कांटेक्ट में है तो उसको हम क्या बोलेंगे, वेटेड पेरीमीटर P। Then another important term in case of this pipe flow problem is the hydraulic radius or hydraulic mean depth। Hydraulic radius is generally denoted by the letter capital R, and it is also called as hydraulic mean depth. It is also called as hydraulic mean depth, and it is a ratio of weighted area to the weighted perimeter. Then hydraulic depth is a ratio of weighted perimeter to the weighted area to the weighted perimeter, and the hydraulic depth of the section is another important definition just we need for our this unit number 5, this D, capital D. The capital D is nothing but it is called as the hydraulic depth. It is called as hydraulic depth, and it is the ratio of wetted area to the top width. So hydraulic depth, capital D, is the ratio of wetted area and the top width of your channel, whichever channel you are considering. One more definition for this open channel or geometrical properties of the channel section, it is nothing but the section factor. What it is? The section factor. Section factor generally it is denoted by the capital letter Z, and this is used for the critical flow computation. Z is the product of wetted area and the square root of the hydraulic depth. Square root of the hydraulic depth. It is the product of wetted area. A is here. A is wetted area. A is wetted area. And D is what is D? D is the hydraulic depth. D is the capital D is the hydraulic depth. So Z is the ratio of Z is the product of area under root of hydraulic depth D. And we know that hydraulic depth D is nothing but weighted area divided by top width. We can write down like Z is equal to under root of A cube upon T. Okay. Again, if you write down it, or the section factor Z for uniform flow computation is the product of weighted area and the hydraulic radius to the power of 2/3. So, in case of uniform flow, you can take this formula, that is Z is equal to A into the R to the power of 2/3. That R is nothing but hydraulic mean depth. R is nothing but the hydraulic mean depth. Okay? Or hydraulic radius, whatever you can. So these are some definitions of terms we can use in the your uh, this unit number 5, and you should remember all this. Once again, I will repeat what we have seen. Y is the depth of flow in channel. T is the top width of the flow. A is the weighted area. P is the weighted perimeter. R is the hydraulic radius or hydraulic mean depth. R is equal to weighted area upon weighted perimeter. And capital D is the hydraulic depth. It is the ratio of weighted area to the top width. And then the section factor, it is the product of weighted area into under root of the hydraulic depth. Under root of hydraulic depth. So you can, from this definition, you can easily find out the geometrical properties of the your given channel section. Your given channel section. Okay. Now we know that we are already seen the pipe flow and the difference between the pipe flow and open channel flow. The pressure gradient that causes flow in the pipe and the flow in pressure with no free surface in the pipe flow condition. Once again, the differentiation is there for pipe flow to open channel flow. The pipe flow is governed by the Reynolds number and loss of heat is given by Darcy-Weisbach equation. So let us in case of that pipe flow we are finding out by using the Darcy-Weisbach equation, that is HF is equal to FLV square upon 2GD. Okay, and you know the Reynolds number, that is nothing but R is equal to rho V D upon mu. Mu is the friction factor. Okay, rho is the wetted pipe length. D is the average velocity. D is the diameter of pipe cross section area. Rho is the mass density of flowing fluid. Rho is the mass density of flowing fluid. Mu is the viscosity of the fluid. Mu is the viscosity of the fluid. So in case of channel open, closed channel or in case of pipe flow, you are using this formula to find out the head loss. In case of open channel flow, in case of open channel flow, that channel flow is a free surface flow. Channel flow is a free surface flow and it takes place due to bed gradient, and bed slope. It takes place due to bed slope, and it is governed by the plot number. And this channel flow is governed by the plot number. And based on plot number, you can F is equal to B divided by under root of GY. This is the plot number, and this equation already in unit number 3 we have derived. Okay. Here y is equal to depth of the flowing channel. V is the velocity of flow given by the changes formula. V is equal to C under root of R into SO. SO is the slope. R is the hydraulic mean depth. And C is nothing but the change is constant. Okay. So R is the hydraulic radius. P is the wetted perimeter. SO0 wet gradient. And A is the wetted area. Based on this changes equation for the open channel flow. So this is nothing but the introduction part of your open channel flow. Okay. Now we will see. Uh, we will extend this lecture because we have very less time to complete the syllabus. Uh, that's why I'm not. I'm going fast. We will see the this element of element of uh, channel or uh, basic equation, coordinate equation of channel flow. So let's see the element of element of channel basics. Channel basics. So this and also the continuity equation of the channel flow. So we will see the diagram already I have drawn, so no need of drawing here. It requires much time. We will directly go to the notes, so lecture number 46. So you can see here the these are the limits of the channel section. This is the, you can see the energy line. Stop is the energy line, in water surface flow, in the bottom slope, and then data. Okay. So this is for the open channel flow. The flow, open channel flow. Figure 5.3, you can write down for the open channel flow. Open channel flow. Okay. So here you can see here also the two section of taken section 1 and section 2. Okay, the flow due to the gravity or due to the open channel due to the atmospheric pressure because some gradient is there, some slope are there for the bed. That's why the fluid is moving. Otherwise, it is very difficult to move. So here you can see if I will draw the pressure diagram at two sections for open channel flow, the force at the top it will be zero and it will be increasing at the bottom. Okay, and at the CG the force of this fluid will act. At section one, I will write F1, and again if I will go for the section two, I will write it as a F2. Okay. So you can understand, and this is the free surface where the flow is occurring free surface, and this is the total energy line, and this last one you can say the weight of the fluid between the two sections, section 1 and section 2 around those two sections. The weight of the fluid is considered as capital W. The horizontal component, because there is some slope, theta is there. This is the theta. Okay, there is slope. There are two components of W. So W cos theta and W sin theta. The horizontal component is W sin theta, and vertical component you can say W cos theta. Okay, W cos theta. This is theta, that here it will be theta value. Okay, and you can say this P is nothing but the weighted perimeter of the considered channel, and Y is the depth of your channel. Y is the depth of your channel. So these are the relevant part of your channel section. Okay, for basic or fundamental equation, you can come through that. So when water flow in an open channel, resistance is offered to it, which result is in causing a loss of energy. And the resistance encountered by the flowing water is generally counteracted by the component of gravity force acting on the body of the water in the direction of motion. A uniform flow will be developed if the resistance is balanced by the gravity forces. If the resistance is balanced by the gravity forces, then we can say that the flow will be at this stage it is uniform flow. Okay? When water enters the channel, the velocity and hence the resistance of small resistance to flow is small, and then gravity forces which results in accelerating the flow in the upstream side reach of the channel. The velocity and the resistance increase gradually until a balance between the resistance and the gravity forces reduced from the point onwards out. Okay. So several uniform flow formula have been developed by the uh, which correlates the mean velocity of uniform flow in open channel with the hydraulic radius R, energy slope line, and a factor of flow resistance. And the most widely used uniform flow formula are nothing but the Chase's formula, are nothing but the Chase's formula in the name of the scientist. So Chase's formula, and then some modification is done by the mining, that is called as mining formula, and there are certain assumptions for these formulas. You can see one by one, and you can see the continuity equation for the flow. Okay, so you can see here. I will read it in, so you can understand. So the main features of uniform flow we will be here. So some important points are there or not. So it is already we have discussed. So the main features of uniform flow in a channel can be summarized as follows. The depth of flow the depth of flow, weighted area, okay, velocity of flow, and discharge are constant at every section along the channel region. The total energy line, water surface, and the channel bottom all are parallel, that is, the slopes are equal. So this is also the consideration you can say or assumption you can say. In case of channel flow problem, so the slope of the total energy line or EGL is equal to slope, and it is denoted by SF, is equal to water slope as the flow of the bottom of the channel. So if these are considered to be equal, the slope is equal. Then from the figure number 3 we already see the figure number. Maybe the figure number 3 is okay. So from the figure number 3 you can see here the force F1 is acting downward, then opposite direction F2 is acting in section 2. Then the velocity E1 is constant, prismatic section is there, and then W is the weight of the fluid, and then horizontal component of the weight of flowing fluid, that is W sin theta and W cos theta. Okay, and the perimeter P is circle. Okay, so we will from this figure you can see that the F1 and F2 are the forces of hydrostatic pressure. So it is the forces of the, this is the pressure developed. At top it is zero, and as you go the bottom the pressure increases. Okay, so this is the F1 and F2. This F1 and F2. They both are the forces of hydrostatic pressure on the free body of the our channel section ABCD. ABCD. Okay, you know this ABCD. The depth of water in prismatic section is considered. The depth of water is same. It means that the F1 is equal to F2. Means that the F1 is equal to F2. Similarly, the component of weight of water in the direction of flow, which is W sin theta, where W is the specific weight of the water, A is the weighted cross-section area of channel, theta is the angle of inclination of the channel bed with respect to the horizontal. With respect to the horizontal. All we have marked here, this is the theta. You can say here it as theta. Okay. Now the resistance to flow is exerted by the weighted surface of the channel. This weighted surface of the channel, that is P here we have written this weighted surface where the water is in contact with the boundary of the channel. So the resistance to flow is exerted by the weighted surface of the channel. If P is the weighted perimeter of the channel and tau 0 is the area shear stress at the channel boundary, the total resistance of flow will be PL PL tau theta. PL tau theta. Okay. So here you can see that we are coming here already. PL tau 0 is the total resistance to flow will be. To put the value, then W sin theta and the resistance of flow is opposing the flow. So W sin theta is the weight component in the horizontal direction and the flow is opposing this flow due to the W sin theta is opposed by the perimeter length, that is L, between the two sections, and tau 0 is the shear stress. So you can write down this W sin theta minus PL tau 0 is equal to 0. So tau 0 PL is equal to rho GAL. W is the unit weight and mass. So we will put the value, then tau 0 is equal to rho G A by P into sin theta. And you know that the value of A by P here, A by P, is nothing but the hydraulic radius R or hydraulic mean depth R, you can say. So the formula and this rho G is nothing but your gamma. Okay. So you can put the value tau 0 is equal to gamma R into S0. This is the equation number 95. Okay. But according to the Reynolds experiment for turbulent flow through pipe, tau 0 is rho F upon A B square. Now the equating the equation 9 and 10. Equating right down here so that later on equation 9 and 10. What happened? Rho F8 into V square is equal to sorry, gamma is nothing but rho into V, gamma is nothing but rho into V, R into S0. So this rho will be cancelled, rho will be cancelled, and sin theta is nothing but S0, and atomic mean depth is nothing but A upon P, A upon P. So atomic mean depth. So we put the value. V square is equal to this rho and rho will be cancelled. G will be there. Rho square will be 8G into R S0 divided by F. We will write on under root. So V is equal to under root of 2G upon F, 2G upon F into R into S0. So this value is nothing but C under root of 8G upon F, the Chase's constant. So C is the Chase's constant and it is nothing but under root of 8G divided by F. And then we will put V is equal to velocity C is the Chase's constant under root of R into S0. This will be the velocity when there is Chase's formula when used. Okay. So this is number, and then V is equal to input the Chase's constant, and then this is for the Chase's constant, and then if you according to mining equation, the value of C is 1 upon n r raised to power 1 by 6. So velocity formula for the mining formula is write down. So V is equal to 1 upon n r to the power of 2 by 3 s to the power of 1 by 2. So values of C can also be worked out by Coulter's formula. This is the Coulter's formula. So different scientists they have suggested as per their study different formula to find out the constant C. Okay, and calculation of velocity in open channel flow problem is always by Chase's or mining formula, and in design of unlined channels for irrigation engineering, Coulter's formula has been suggested by the Fenner. Okay, so these are the Nothing but study of open channel. And one more formula is listed by, that is the Basel formula. So this is the Basel formula, and then constant slope value m is equal to 0.11 for uh, very small, sorry, very smooth content or plain wood is there. So smooth cement surface is there, or plant wood will be there, then the m is equal to 0.11. If concrete surface is there or brick or unplanned wood is there, then m value is equal to 0.2. Similarly, rubble masonry is there, then m is 0.83. And there is the costed value or slope m value is can based on the material you can find out. Okay, so these are the all about the real lecture, and then we will continue the lecture further on. I will inform if there is additional class tomorrow or not. If there is, I will inform today only. No, then I will not send any message. Thank you for joining. So you should make your own notes also. I will share this also. I will study regularly. Okay. Thank you for joining for this lecture. Okay. If you have any doubt, you can write to in the chat box or the